Welcome to the Academy, a series focused on the basics of Star Wars: The Old Republic. Ancient Hypergates is one of the many types of player versus player matches you can get in Star Wars: The Old Republic. If you're new to PvP and SWTOR, first make sure to check out the Academy episode about how to PvP. Ancient Hypergates is a match set on Ilum under a beautiful night sky and an aurora borealis, in an ancient ruin built around a Gree hypergate. The goal of the match is to conquer the unique technology found on the field and claim it as your own. Unfortunately, the technology is powered by energy pylons, which you'll need to capture and discharge during the match to bring the Gree technology to full power. Hypergates is very different than the other conquer and defend types of matches. During the match, you gain points for capturing pylons, killing enemies, and powering the pylons with orbs. The first team to 600 points at the end of a round wins. There's a pylon on each side of the map that you can capture, and a center area that spawns energy orbs where most of the fighting usually happens. Once your team captures one of the pylons, you can pick up the energy orbs and bring them to your captured pylon for extra points. Players usually pick up the sparkling orbs if the middle area is clear, when they won't get interrupted while picking them up. If there's less than 15 seconds on the clock, don't worry about grabbing orbs because they take so long to run back to your pylon. In this type of match, the player versus player battles are just as important as keeping at least one of the pylons captured. Every time you die, the enemy gets points, and every time you kill someone, your team gets points. The most useful thing you can do for your team is not to die. Don't go wandering away from your healers or rush into any fights alone. Don't feed the enemy free points. Losing a captured pylon is also a lot more detrimental than in the other matches, as it directly affects your point score at the end of the round. Player kill points aren't awarded until the round ends, and you don't get any points if you've lost your pylon at the end of the round. Capturing both pylons at the end of the round will net you double points. The pylons have a fairly short capture time, so if you're defending a pylon, be very careful to stay nearby and call in chat if you see enemies coming immediately. You also have to be careful of stealthers. If you're not defending a node, always keep your eye on chat and see if a node is under attack and needs help. Ancient Hypergates also has a very fun mechanic. At the end of the round, the pylons will explode and discharge. A wave of energy will go across the field. If you aren't safely in the center of the map, or in the respawn area, you'll be automatically killed if the yellow light touches you. Be very careful that when you run into the center of the map when this happens, that you put your back against the wall so you don't get pushed right back out again. While running into the center, if there are any enemies nearby, you can stun them or slow them down so they get caught in the blast. If you're defending a pylon, since the capping time is 6 seconds, you can start running back about 5 seconds before the pylons explode to gain some extra run time. In most matches, each team will pick one of the 2 pylons to capture and defend, one person from each team will guard their pylon, and everyone else will fight in the middle. If you're unsure what to do, first check and make sure your pylon is being defended. If it's empty, get over there and watch it. If your pylon is being guarded, head to mid and join the battle. The enemy team might try and sneak over to your pylon, so always keep an eye on it, because losing a pylon at the wrong time can easily cost you the game. Keeping your pylon captured is your first priority, and your second is a tie between not dying, killing the enemy team's players, and running orbs back to your pylon. If you're thinking of attacking the enemy's pylon, make sure you know exactly who's there, and that you'll either have some backup or have enough skill to take a lone defender out alone, because if you head over there and die, you'll just be feeding the enemy free player kill points. The actual point scores for Ancient Hypergates are a lot more complicated than the other types of matches. As the rounds progress, the multiplier goes up. On the first round, the multiplier is ×3. The next round is ×4, then ×5, and so on. That means you can get more points for the same action in a later round than you could in an early round. So if you're doing badly at the beginning, your team still has a great chance of catching up if they do well in the later rounds. Capturing an orb and bringing it back to your node will award you a permanent point boost of 2 times your round multiplier. So on the first round with a ×3 multiplier, it's worth 6 points. There are also points that are only awarded at the end of the round, and you only get to keep them if you have at least 1 pylon captured when the pylons discharge. If you control a pylon at the end of a round, you get points for every enemy death since the beginning of the game multiplied by the round multiplier, so if your team has killed 10 people at the end of the first round, which has a ×3 multiplier, you'll get 30 points. If by the time the second round rolls around, your team has killed a total of 20 people during the whole match, since the fourth round has a multiplier of 4, you'll get 80 points. You also get 75 points for capturing a pylon. If you manage to capture both pylons at the end of the round, you get double points. Long story short, if you lose your pylon halfway through the round and don't regain it by the end of the round, a lot of your points will go missing by the time the round ends. This is why it's so incredibly important to make sure your pylons stay captured, and why sometimes ninjaing a pylon can win or lose the game. On the next episode of the Academy, we'll be talking about Hut Ball, an extremely unique type of match that doesn't have any nodes or pylons at all. If you want to show your support for this series, or to get notified when the next episode of the Academy comes out, subscribe to this channel.